let me be blunt. If you're a man over 60 and your erections are weaker, your energy dips by noon and your drive is fading. That's not just aging. That's your body warning you loud and clear that something deeper is breaking down. And ignoring it? That's the biggest mistake men make, because what starts as just tiredness or a little bedroom issue often leads to far worse: blocked blood flow, plummeting testosterone, and a quiet, slow decline in everything that once made you feel alive as a man. Now, I'm Dr. James, a physician specializing in men's health for over 30 years. I've helped thousands of older men across America restore their energy, their performance, and their confidence without prescriptions, injections, or gimmicks. Here's the paradox. Most men believe they need complicated supplements or hormone therapy to feel young again. But the truth is, some of the most powerful tools for male vitality are sitting right there in your kitchen. I'm talking about 3 simple everyday nuts that science now shows can boost blood flow, reignite your erections, and naturally restore your testosterone without side effects. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through exactly how these 3 nuts, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts, work with your body to reverse what time is taken. And I'll show you why, when used together, they unlock results that shock even my most skeptical patients. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change how you age and how you feel for good. Before we dive into these powerful health insights, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another tip designed to help men over 60 feel stronger, younger, and more alive. And if you find this helpful, type yes in the comments. If not, type no and tell me how I can better serve you. Now let's get into the heart of it, starting with the first essential nut that's been quietly restoring energy and blood flow for men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. It's often overlooked, but it holds the key to one of the most powerful changes you can make to your circulation. Let's talk about walnuts, what I call the circulation king. 1. Walnuts, the circulation king. I remember one of my first patients to ever teach me just how powerful a simple change in diet could be. His name was John, 72 years old, former mechanic, proud grandfather of 5. He sat across from me one morning, eyes tired, voice low, and said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore. I get winded walking to the mailbox. I haven't had morning wood in months." My wife, she tries not to show it, but I know she feels it too. He wasn't sick. His labs weren't alarming, but his life force, the energy that made him feel like a man, was quietly slipping away. That's when I asked him something most doctors overlook. What do you eat every day? He listed the usual: toast, deli meat, coffee, maybe a frozen dinner at night. Nothing unusual, but also nothing nourishing. I handed him a small bag of walnuts. Eat a handful of these every evening. No pills, no gimmicks, just give your body what it's asking for. You see, walnuts aren't just a snack. They're what I call the circulation king. They're packed with L-arginine, a natural amino acid that helps your body produce nitric oxide, a molecule essential for opening up your blood vessels and allowing blood to flow freely. And in men over 60, nitric oxide levels drop by more than half. That's why you feel tired. That's why your erections aren't what they used to be. Blood just isn't getting where it needs to go. But walnuts begin to reverse that. When your blood vessels open up, circulation improves, not just to your heart and brain, but to the most personal parts of your body. You begin to feel more alert, more alive, more like the man you used to be. And this isn't some vague health claim, it's supported by hard science. Multiple studies have shown that daily walnut consumption improves endothelial function, the inner lining of your blood vessels, which is a key driver of healthy blood flow and sexual performance. But what really convinced me wasn't the studies, it was John. 2 weeks later, he came back with a grin I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "I woke up and it was back. I felt it, and so did my wife." It wasn't magic. It was walnuts doing what they're designed to do, restoring circulation from the inside out. And beyond blood flow, they're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation, support your heart, and even improve brain health. They contain melatonin too, which naturally enhances sleep, a crucial part of recovery that most older men don't get enough of. So here's what I tell every patient now. Add 5 to 7 walnuts to your evening routine. Not salted, not candied, just plain raw walnuts. Think of them as part of your nightly repair ritual. It's a small shift that leads to big changes. But while walnuts focus on your blood flow, they're only one piece of the puzzle. Because once circulation improves, the next question is, can you sustain performance where it matters most? That's where our second nut comes in. It's not just delicious, it's been shown to directly improve erection quality, satisfaction, and stamina, all without a single prescription. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might surprise you. Let's talk about pistachios. 2. Pistachios, the erection enhancer. I'll never forget the moment Mark sat down in my office, 69 years old, a former Marine, tough as nails. But that day he looked defeated. "Doc," he said, not making eye contact, "I just don't feel like a man anymore." He went on to tell me how intimacy had become awkward. His erections were weak, sometimes non-existent. He tried to hide it from his wife, brushing it off as stress or age, but inside, it was eating him alive. "I miss that connection," he said. "I miss feeling confident." What struck me most was that he wasn't sick. His heart was okay, his labs weren't alarming. But like many men his age, what he didn't realize was that his body wasn't broken. It was simply underfueled. And when your body doesn't have the right tools, it can't build or sustain performance, especially where it matters most. That's when I told him about something surprisingly simple. Pistachios. Not a pill, not a supplement. Just one of the most potent natural foods for improving blood flow and erectile strength. Pistachios are more than a snack. They're a powerhouse of arginine, the same amino acid found in walnuts, which boosts nitric oxide levels and relaxes blood vessels. That means more blood flow, more responsiveness, more stamina. But pistachios go even further. They're rich in plant sterols, which lower bad cholesterol and keep your arteries clean, because clean arteries mean better erections. They also contain vitamin B6, which plays a crucial role in regulating testosterone, the very hormone that fuels male desire, strength, and confidence. Add to that their potent antioxidants, and you've got a recipe for reviving performance without relying on prescriptions. I asked Mark to make one small change: eat a small handful of pistachios, about 20 to 30 nuts, every afternoon. That's it. No pills, no schedule to memorize, just enjoy them as an afternoon snack or sprinkle them on his salad. 3 weeks later, Mark walked back into my office standing taller. There was a different energy about him. "It's working," he said with a half smile. "It's not just about sex. I feel like I've got something back. I feel masculine again." Moments like that remind me why I do this. Because for so many men, the road back to vitality isn't through a pharmacy. It's through food that works with your biology, not against it. Pistachios improve erection firmness, duration, and even satisfaction. They support healthy blood vessels and optimize hormone levels, all naturally, all without side effects. And let's not overlook the emotional weight of what this means. When a man starts to feel stronger in the bedroom, he feels stronger everywhere, in his posture, his mindset, his relationships. Confidence doesn't just come from performance, it comes from knowing you're capable, that your body still responds, that you're not fading, you're returning. So if you've been feeling disconnected, like you've lost something important, pistachios might just be the simplest way to reignite the spark. 1 handful a day, that's all it takes. Now, we've improved blood flow with walnuts. We've restored physical performance with pistachios. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and in many ways, it's the most critical. Because if your hormones aren't working for you, no amount of blood flow or stamina will be enough. In fact, the very spark that powers your desire and energy might still be dormant, but there's one nut that can wake it up, and you only need one a day. Let me tell you about Brazil nuts. 3. Brazil nuts, the testosterone trigger. I still remember the look on David's face when he came in for his annual checkup. He was 70, had recently retired, and while everything on paper looked fine, he didn't feel fine. "Doc," he said quietly, "I'm just flat. My energy's low, I wake up tired, I don't feel interested in much, my body feels slow, and my mood's not much better." David wasn't the kind of man to complain. He'd built his own business, raised a family, served in the Navy, but now, in the silence of retirement, he realized something inside him had changed, and not for the better. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional, like the spark had gone out. What David was describing is something I've heard from hundreds of men over the years, and it almost always comes down to one critical but overlooked factor: testosterone. It's not about building muscle or acting tough, it's about having the internal chemistry to feel alive, motivated, and connected. And after 60, testosterone naturally begins to dip. Slowly at first, but steadily. And with that decline comes fatigue, irritability, lower libido, and a general feeling of being disconnected from your own body. That's when I told David something that surprised him. You don't need a prescription, you don't need injections. You need one Brazil nut a day. It sounds too simple, doesn't it? But the truth is, Brazil nuts are one of the richest natural sources of selenium, a mineral that plays a vital role in testosterone production, sperm health, and even thyroid function. Selenium helps your body convert inactive hormones into active ones. Without it, your hormonal system slows down, like an engine starved of oil. Most men over 60 are selenium deficient and don't even know it. The soil in many parts of the U.S. no longer contains the levels it once did, and our diets aren't filling the gap. That's why this one nut can make such a powerful difference. I asked David to start eating just one raw Brazil nut each morning, right after brushing his teeth. Nothing else. No big routine. Just one. 3 weeks later, he came back with a lightness in his step I hadn't seen before. He said, "Doc, I can't explain it, but I feel like myself again. My mornings are clearer, I'm getting more done around the house, and I'm sleeping through the night without waking up 4 times. He smiled, then leaned in and said, "And my wife? Let's just say, she's noticing the difference too." That's what happens when testosterone comes back into balance. Not just more energy, but better sleep, improved mood, sharper focus, and yes, stronger intimacy. Brazil nuts don't act like a drug. They work like a signal, telling your body it's safe, it's time, let's function the way we were meant to. What I love most is how simple it is. No measuring, no side effects, just one nut with incredible potency. In many cases, the change begins within 7 to 14 days. Sometimes it's subtle at first, more motivation, fewer mood swings. But over time, men describe a sense of returning, like their body is waking up from something long and quiet. So now we've boosted your circulation with walnuts. We've reignited your performance with pistachios. And we've brought your hormones back online with Brazil nuts. But what happens when you combine all three? Well, that's where the real magic begins. Because when these 3 simple foods come together, they don't just help. You start to feel like the strongest, most energized version of yourself. And the results? They're greater than the sum of their parts. Let me show you what happens when nature works in harmony, with your body, not against it. 4. Why these 3 nuts work better together. One of the most rewarding parts of my work is watching the pieces come together. When a patient doesn't just feel better, but begins to understand why he feels better. That's where real change begins. A few months ago, I had a man named Michael come to me. He was 70, recently widowed and carrying a quiet kind of sadness. He wasn't looking for a miracle, just some way to feel more present in his body again. "I just want to feel strong," he said, "not young, just strong." We started simple. I asked him to add walnuts and pistachios to his routine, nothing drastic, just a handful each day. After 2 weeks, he came back and said, "Doc, it's helping a little, but something still feels off." He wasn't wrong. His blood flow had improved, his energy was more stable, but there was still a missing piece: That's when we added the third nut, just one Brazil nut in the morning. That's when everything changed. He came back a month later with tears in his eyes. "I feel like I've come back to life," he said. "I didn't realize how far I had slipped until I started to feel like me again." There's a reason combining all three nuts works so well. It's because each one targets a different root cause of decline. Walnuts get your blood moving. Pistachios restore performance. Brazil nuts reignite your hormones. Alone, they're helpful. But together they create a kind of synergy, each one amplifying the effect of the other. Here's what happens inside your body. The improved circulation from walnuts and pistachios means your cells receive more oxygen, more nutrients, more energy. That enhanced blood flow doesn't just improve physical response, it allows your body to better absorb and utilize the selenium from Brazil nuts. And once testosterone begins to rise, everything else responds. Your sleep deepens, your mood lifts, your motivation sharpens. It's a full system reboot. And the best part, it's sustainable. You're not relying on artificial stimulants or temporary fixes. You're giving your body the raw, powerful nutrition it needs to function like it was meant to. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s make this change and feel better than they did a decade ago. Not because of some secret supplement, but because they committed to one simple truth. The body wants to heal. It just needs the right tools. And that's what this trio of nuts provides. Not a promise of youth, but a restoration of strength, function, and dignity. I tell my patients all the time, it's not about being 25 again. It's about waking up with clarity, moving with energy, and lying down at night knowing your body is still working for you, not against you. So now you know the power of these three everyday foods. You've seen how they work individually and what they can unlock when combined. But what happens next depends on you. Because the final piece, the most important part of all, is the decision to act. And in just a moment, I'll give you a simple step-by-step daily plan to start today. One that takes less than a minute but can transform the way you feel in just 7 days. Don't miss this, because it might just be the easiest, most powerful health change you've ever made. Conclusion: reclaiming your strength starts with a handful. I've spent over 3 decades sitting across from men just like you. Men who've worked hard, lived full lives, but quietly started to feel something slipping. Energy, confidence, connection. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in the quiet moments. When you wake up tired, when intimacy feels distant, when your body doesn't respond the way it used to. And every time I remind them, this isn't the end. It's a turning point. Your body isn't giving up. It's asking for help. We've talked about 3 simple foods. Walnuts, the circulation king that opens your blood vessels and helps your energy come back online. Pistachios, the performance enhancer that restores function, stamina, and bedroom confidence. Brazil nuts, the hormone trigger that brings testosterone back into balance and reawakens your sense of drive and presence. Individually, they're powerful, but together they work in harmony to rebuild the strength, clarity, and vitality you thought were gone for good. This isn't about reversing time. It's about restoring who you truly are underneath the fatigue and frustration. It's about waking up each morning and feeling like your best self again. And sometimes that starts not with a prescription or a procedure, but with what you put in your hand. A handful of walnuts, a palm of pistachios, 1 Brazil nut. Simple, natural, proven. If you're ready to take back your strength, your health, and your confidence, start today. Your next chapter can be stronger than you think, and it might just start with something as small as a nut.